Welcome to the 6 Degrees of Esports podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Casey.
In a Hawaiian shirt over there. And we're here to talk about anything connected to the world of esports today. On today's episode, we're discussing a little bit of the ALGS finals. That's the Apex Legends Global Series finals this past weekend. Dip our toe a little bit into E3 and all things multiplayer in gaming there. And then we're going to talk a little bit about gambling in esports, from new platforms and companies on the rise to in-game purchases, maybe some patents that were pending out there. And really, thanks for joining us once again. This is episode 4, so let's jump right in. Casey, how are you doing today? Thanks for bringing your best.
I'm doing pretty good, man. Rocking my my nice shirt. It's really actually silky smooth, so be jealous.
Do you order that offline? Is that like an Amazon purchase?
Offline? No.
Online?
I ordered it online, and it was like from like a third-party website. This shirt was like, I think like $12. So I'm like, oh, that looks cool. $12. I'll buy it. Sounds great. So, button-down shirt, nice smooth material. This is only like the second time I've worn it, so.
You're wearing that out. I know that.
Appreciate it.
I'd wear that out. Awesome. So, this weekend was the grand finals of Apex Legends, and it did not disappoint. There was
it did not.
Across the EU with EMEA, and then North America, teams came out of nowhere that you wouldn't expect. How that sets up for everyone that maybe didn't watch it or didn't know the format quite as well. It's a match point system. So teams that qualified, every team that qualified into it, the top 10 teams started with 12 points. Then that was number one team. The next team would be 10 points, then 9 points, 8 points, all the way down. They start with some points, and every game they'd get points for kills, and then for their highest placement. You can read all those, go find those, but it's like 12 points for first place all the way down. And so games could go unlimited. It's teams have to get to the point limit, which is 50 points. And then the next team that wins that if they're above 50 points, they would win the whole tournament. So lots of action. It got tense at the end. There was, I think, 9 teams in NA that were above the point threshold when someone finally won. So, I mean, and teams played out of their mind, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I think technically you said there's an unlimited amount of games. At some point, I think statistically, somebody's got to win.
It is statistically proven that, and I didn't plan this out, but
I think it would be like at least like you could max go maybe 15 games. I don't think.
Let's ballpark it, sure, around 15 games if everything worked out, and every team was on match point.
To say that, we still had 9 games on the NA side. Nine games were played, and there were some heated competitions. I got to watch a majority of those 9 games. I think I got to partake in about 7 of them. Mm-hmm. And, man, it was just a all-out battle towards the last 7, 8, and 9. There was some really close calls for the extremely popular organizations like Cloud9 and TSM. Mm-hmm. And then there's some underperforming organizations that we were very high up on, like NRG. I had them as my number 1 going into the weekend, but they unfortunately disappointed for us. So the winners of the NA, they really came through. That's going to be
KNG.
Bottom 20.
Bottom 20 is referred to, but it's KNG. It's Kangura. They were the champions. They played great. They played consistent. That was the key. Was they were never on anyone's radar high up. Going into it, they were on some people's radars, but they kind of flew under the radar for most of the tournament too, and they just crept up points. They kept points, got points, and right at the end, there was a great pinch move. There's 3 teams, and it was like, who's going to ape who? They pushed into a really good posturing position. They threw up their bubble shield. The other team had their bubble shield. They were basically just staying staring at each other, but they had caustic traps down, so the other team couldn't push into them. The other team decided, hey, let's turn around, go towards this third party. They cleaned them up real quick, but then they just got jumped on, and that was it. It was GG's.
Yeah, honestly, when everything went down, there were so many teams that were at match point. I didn't even realize that bottom 20 had the capability of winning everything, and they got the last couple kills, and I was like, oh shoot, like because there were so many teams that were able to have the potential of winning it. I think the statistics were that the game or the tournament was going to end rather than continue on to the 10th game. It was just like a higher probability. So for them to pull out that win, definitely came. I want to say it came out of nowhere because they really flew under the radar, like you said. They really didn't draw that much attention to themselves. And honestly, I think we spoke about this off camera last week. Like, I think that's really the way to do it. Like, you don't get a win within your first couple of games to get you to 50 points, but you just slowly chunk away, and you get to 50 points by game 7 or 8. You are thankful that there's one more, and then there's your shot. Like, it's basically anybody's game at that point.
Yeah, there's a little bit, backlash about the system, about, getting to a match point and then winning when so many teams accumulated more points than them leading up to it. But at this point, I don't see a better version of the game being played. I've thought about it a lot, and I've thought of different ways of doing it. I always felt like prioritizing kills would be a great answer to this, or prioritizing kills earlier in the game even would be an interesting answer to this. Wait out the whole lobby until the last 2 circles, because it makes for almost zero fun to watch in the first 10 minutes of the game. You're really just waiting for the end for the ring to actually force you to fight. But it really, at this point, is the only fair solution I see is like, make that point target, reach the point target, and then get a W. I love the idea, at least, of getting the W to win everything. I feel like that's essential. It's part of Battle Royale. I don't think there should just be like, oh, you reached 150 points and now you won. It's just kind of, even if you didn't win that match, it's like, well, what should we stop the game, midway through the match because this team just reached 50 points and they just got placed 10th? It's like, doesn't feel right.
Mean, that's a really valid point there, because it becomes awkward for everybody else that's still in that final match, and it feels like you're at that point not playing for anything. You're just playing the game, which, I mean, these guys are
playing for second, third.
Yeah, yeah.
Even with a W. So I'd like to see a new format introduced, or tweaks to the format that might make it more compelling for fights to happen earlier.
If you weigh kills heavier, say, I'm not exactly sure. Is it just 1 point per kill?
1 point per kill.
If you make that 3 points per kill.
How about 3 points per kill first circle? 2 points per kill second circle. Okay. 1 point per kill last circle. I mean, you're going to get a lot more kills at the end when there's 10 teams around, but if you can seek and destroy early, I mean, you could jump up that point ladder relatively quickly, and it might develop some more team compositions. And that's one of the things, when teams got on match point, you saw them, everyone says, oh, there's going to be targets on their back. If they're seeing the kill feed, people are going to attack them. So people started playing different compositions. TSM did that. They started playing a caustic right after they hit match point to disguise themselves.
There was an EU team that played Loba, surprisingly, and they got to match point. I think they were the first team to get to match point, and then they didn't play Loba for the rest of the day because everybody knew if they saw a Loba team, like, you got to go kill them. So it makes you really change up your play style. How about this one real quick? 10 points for every hot drop kill.
So that would be the hot drop point on the map. If you drop there, you get a kill, 10 points.
Yeah, you have to drop either like the first landing zone on the map or the hot drop circle. So if you get a kill there within the first zone, 10 points. You would see
10,
some
10 points
fights.
Gryffindor.
You
No,
would see
I don't.
some ham thrown.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I could see
Okay,
that. I don't know if the
10
risk
points
reward
is
of
a
that
little extreme.
might be a lot, but yeah, okay, we're thinking in the right direction though, right? Or thinking, how can we get early game pressure onto someone? How would that work? Is first kill of the game just in general worth more?
If this was Warzone, then they would have already done it. They would have swung it. You get a hot drop kill, you win the whole tournament. Like, that's how.
You get a nuke, tactical nuke, takes out 50% of the map wherever you
Easy.
want it. Yeah, I could see that happening.
What? Any other anything else on that?
Yeah. One more thought was like, what if the players' names, and this was a thing, when you see someone in the kill feed, they're on match point, you're going to attack that zone, you're going to attack that team that just dropped that player. Just disguise the names. Just tell them, Loba streamer mode, basically. Just put streamer mode on. I mean, why do people need to know who's around to shoot?
I think that it could go both ways. To where I see that
only for
C9,
players.
Yeah, I mean, I see that C9 just got eliminated as another player, and I know they're on match point. I'm like, okay, sweet. Like, there's still a chance for us. Like, that was the only team on match point. We're going to another game. Doesn't matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I see same thing. C9 eliminating people, and I can tell the fight is just happening 20 yards away. Excuse me. I'm gonna want to push them. So like it kind of goes both ways there, towards like it is a motivating factor, and it's like, oh shoot, if I don't kill them, then we lose everything. So having that I'm gonna butcher this word, the anonymity. No, can you help me out?
Anonymity.
All right, I'm not the only one. But having that disguise, I really could only see it benefiting like that team itself. I don't think it would be that beneficial for like the entire lobby. It's only going to be beneficial for Cloud9 if they're able to wipe out other teams. Do you know what I'm saying? It could be. Yeah. It could be good, because it could cause a team that already has match point to continue to push players, because then they're not afraid anymore.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true too. That's the other side of the coin, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right, where did we end up? So yeah, it was great. A great tournament overall.
Yeah.
And
congrats to bottom 20 or
Kangura.
Yeah, that one.
They were picked up and they didn't change their name for some reason. I don't know if they couldn't do it mid-tournament, but yeah. Kangura, congratulations. Anyways, so I wanted to talk. We found a few things that were pretty interesting creeping up this week about esports betting, partnerships, consoles. Let's start first with G2. G2 and Betway have a partnership now. Betway is a UK betting gambling site. And then G2, obviously, esports organization out of Spain, but resides in Germany, in Berlin, for their headquarters. They have a partnership now. They're working with a sports betting company. So
yeah, I mean, betting and esports, it's going to become more and more popular, honestly. Like, it's going to be something that is able to just draw in more of a fan base. I see on Twitter all the time through different people like tweeting out like, oh, I won $600, $700 because I bet on just random stats throughout like a football match or soccer if you're American. and like a person gets a yellow card or a goal gets scored in a specific period of time, I could see like that exact type of betting taking place within esports as well. And the popularity is it's there. Like the willingness to participate it's obviously there. So for these companies like G2 able to take advantage of that, it's a market and it's available.
Yeah. So I was reading something that was interesting. It was the correlation between the user base, the gaming user base. So let's take like, you know, League of Legends or Call of Duty or something. 100 million users, or they always, you know, Apex Legends just went over 100 million unique users. But then you see their esports, their broadcast numbers, something like Call of Duty in the couple hundred thousands. And then Apex this past weekend, which I thought was really interesting, they had about 80,000 on their main channel. But then players in the tournament were streaming it anyways. They were reaching 50, 60,000, pulling away from those like main numbers. And then they're having partnered streamers. Like during Valorant, they had like Shroud and I think a couple other people being like a featured partner streamer. And I didn't see any like official partners featured on those partner streams. I might have missed those, but that would be like super important towards like what the value of that partnership means. If they, you know, if they're partnered with the main channel but they're not partnered with the person that was, you know, also kind of tweeting, live streaming with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the point you're trying to make there, it's more of like the quality of the partnerships that these organizations are trying to have, rather than like the mass number of like partnerships that they're able to have. So somebody like Shroud, who already draws in a huge crowd, is able to have a bigger impact when it comes to streaming the Valorant tournaments, because a lot of people are going to get his perspective because one, he's extremely popular, he's very likable, but then two, he's a former CS:GO player, so he's going to have that background knowledge of how to play the game, and he's able to commentate on what's taking place in the match, and he's able to do it now like with actual knowledge of previous experience. So I think that's the quality. And bring it back to
let me bring it back betting around too. Let me bring it back around. Is that
esports betting? Go ahead.
Sorry, the unique numbers being so high, the player base being so high, the unique numbers of a stream, whether it's partnered or on the main channel, being considerably lower than that unique number, because not as many people care about the esports side of things. Maybe they just enjoy the game. But then diluting that further is the people that want to actually bet on the esport, making that a significantly lower number than the people watching. So long short of it is that pool of people actually wanting to bet is much smaller than the amount of people playing or even watching the game.
Yeah, I mean, it always is, because a lot of people don't want to like put their money out there. If you put a room of 20 people and they all are sports fans, maybe only 4 or 5 of them are actually going to be betting on the game, and the other 15 of them are just sit there enjoying the game. But still, like, the market is out there for those 5 people to be reached, and if that compounds into, instead of 20 people, that's 20,000 people, or like Apex had 80,000 people, that turns into a lot more people that are able to put their money out there on the line and able to draw a pile of money for them to pull from, basically.
Big pile of cash.
I mean, I think esports betting, it's definitely there. Like, I'm just thinking, you look at Twitch, right? There's the channel points that they have. People are betting their channel points. Yeah, there's no fallback from that because it's not any monetary value from it. It's just your time that is basically being wasted away, I guess. But
They're warming
like,
people up a little bit, you know?
exactly. So, but yeah, it's definitely being able to partnership with something like G2. It's a great start.
Yeah, if they can kind of and I think it's not just getting the people that are interested in the game, it's making the game accessible and understandable to the point where someone that, you know, I don't watch horse racing all the time, but I see horse racing come up. It's very straightforward. It's horses running around the track. There's a cool name. I'm going to bet on that horse. Yeah, that's going to be harder to translate to maybe League of Legends. Maybe we say something like cricket, where I've watched cricket maybe half a dozen times in my life, and I still have no idea what they're trying to do, which way they hit the ball. It like goes backwards, and everyone's like, "Yeah, like it's going that." Like I'm like, "Why'd it go that way? Is that not out of bounds?" No, there is no out of bounds. There's nothing. The ball goes anywhere, and it's in play. Wildly cool looking game. Kind of wish I understood it better, but yeah, it's taking like an intricate game and making it just more accessible so that, you know, if we go through a pandemic, people aren't betting on ping pong online because there's no sports. They're betting on games still happening. You know, CS:GO and League of Legends games that are still being played.
Yeah.
So
being able to be active in that is definitely important. But yeah, kind of.
So there's game. Go ahead.
I was saying, following along with that, there's different organizations that are trying to get ahead of this curve, and there's Sony's esports betting patent that they have released, or at least I should say they've filed for a patent. It's actually not official yet. The official filing of that took place in 2018. Sorry, 2019. And I guess according to different filing laws or whatever, you either have to announce when the patent gets approved or after 18 months of the filing taking place. So in this instance, it happens to be the latter, but it doesn't seem like there's anything that's going to be holding them back from getting approved for that patent. But it's just a matter of the official case going through. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. So Sony, I mean, the quote from it is, you know, odds for various propositions concerning the play of a computer simulation are determined and presented to a viewer for pecuniary, monetary, or non-pecuniary wagering purposes. The odds may be determined using past game analytics or determined parimutually. That's a fun word. They use fun words in this article.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they'll use this for like, I would think they'll use this for like maybe league games or maybe through like streaming. I don't know what service they're going to partner with that is streaming these, because if it's like done through, you know, the broadcast is through Twitch, but the betting is on their system on Sony. You know, are you going to be using real money? Are you using cryptocurrency, Sony points? Like, what form does this come in? They also mentioned possibly having items that, you know, in-game items that you'd buy being put up as, you know, collateral towards a wager.
Yeah, I was reading an article that it could potentially accept cryptocurrency within that as well. So being able to bet with Bitcoin, which is kind of interesting to me because depending on how long that match is, when you place your bet and when the bet actually pays out, the price of Bitcoin might be different by maybe $100 or so. So that would be actually very interesting. But the in-game items is kind of wild as well. Say, take Fortnite, for example. If you bet a skin that you own.
How about a season 1 skin?
Sure, yeah, whatever it might
More
be.
valuable,
Yeah, is
right?
that going to be? Yeah, the logistics of betting in-game items, uh, I personally think is going to be a lot harder than just betting Bitcoin or dollars. But the intriguing aspect of it definitely makes me it, it's exciting. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, this could pull all the way back around to, NFTs and that marketplace playing a factor. If this was a patent put in a year and a half ago, we have things, and it's not approved yet. So, it's just something they're preparing for, right? And a lot of people are preparing for is like, I mean, it will one day be a thing where you can bet. In what form, we don't know yet. Can you bet on a competition you go into? That's got to be addressed. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed and set into place, rules that need to be made before like we can actually start really betting like on esports. Even
Yeah,
though it exists out there, it already exists, but there's been match fixing. There's been some very there's been some tampering and
yeah.
some cheating. So
You beat me. Beat me to it. I was about to say betting on matches that you're playing in. Like we'll get into the match fixing and all that and some later podcasts, but yeah, like that right there, that's a crime basically. Like you're
mhm.
fixing a game that you're playing in to profit like that. Like you can't do that. Like that ethically, morally, legally, it's wrong.
Now, what
Uh,
about a game that like said company, Sony, puts out or publishes that you
sure.
can also bet on? Do you see? I mean, should betting be a third party only option?
I mean, I don't see where say like I'm blanking on a Sony game right now. Spider-Man, right? That's a Sony game, but that's not really a bettable game. Uh, I'm blanking on whatever Sony creates, and it would
Let's
be a
say
betting
Sony
game.
creates one. Let's not even
Yeah,
put it in
a
real world.
fighting game.
Let's
Say
say
a
they make a
fighting
fighting
game,
game.
and you're able to bet on it. I don't have a problem with them having a betting platform through their site, like through them
Through their
themselves.
hardware. Yeah.
But I have a problem with their employees, like the game creators and the content creators, uh, betting on those games. So the people participating in the games, the people that created the games, and the company itself betting on it, I would have a problem there. But them hosting an option to have like their consumers bet on a game that they created, I don't really have a problem with that.
Okay.
But there is another market that's kind of already out there for betting as well. I do want to bring this up. A lot of people know this already, but DraftKings is a very popular sports book site. And excuse me, they
I won some
are
money on it last week. It was great.
yeah, nice. So yeah, they're very well known for their athletic sports, I should say. I mean, I guess esports has some athleticism, maybe.
Mentally, sure.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, they're mainly known for like their baseball, basketball, football, those types of sports. But then they're now trying to bring in esports where they're going to be betting on whether the match is played best out of three matches, how many matches are played within that. So if it's only going to be two, or whether it's going to be a player's name on a team is just simply spelled incorrectly. There's going to be bets, uh, all kinds of bets that are going to be brought forth to them and or be able to be made through them, I should say. So I think that's pretty interesting that they're trying to reach that market. But again, like the viewership has to kind of come in before those
Mhm.
bets are able to be made. Because if I'm putting all these options out there and no one's there to take the bait, then what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they can do that in a couple ways too, especially through DraftKings. They have an opportunity to educate their audience at least a little bit, on what these games are, what the basic, premise of the game is, the rules of the game, and they can put up free pools. I join free pools on DraftKings all the time, and the payout's like nothing. Like you win $5, $1. I don't know. You can win I think you can win actually some if it's a crazy one like weather. I bet on Weather Wednesday. Weather Wednesday is great. You bet what the highs and lows of different cities in the country are going to be. It's hilarious.
What?
It's like Phoenix is going to be over or under 115 on Thursday. Oh, that's what it is. I think it's always Thursdays. But you bet on Wednesday. So if they did some sort of free pool with CS:GO and they said here's a free entry, at least you can kind of understand the rules. How many smokes will be thrown over under, that would be a crazy number. But let's say on a site only, they could throw up some kind of prop bets and just get people interested, get people, looking into the game, researching the game, or they could put up a larger prize pool, but make it a free entry, really to get people going into it. So yeah, education and opportunity to get people involved is going to be key to getting people that are outside the game to get interested in betting on the game.
Yeah, it's definitely an industry that is there. It's growing. There's opportunity for growth. I just hope that the players that are involved aren't corrupted by it. That's the easiest way to say it, and they're not betting on themselves. I'm not saying players shouldn't
bet on themselves.
I don't want to say it's because betting on yourself has a different connotation, but in this specific context, betting monetarily on yourself, it's not it's wrong. And I want players to be able to go out there and quote unquote bet on themselves that they're going to win the game, and they're going to try hard and compete and everything. But when you're betting on yourself that your team is going to win or lose and you're going to be able to gain monetarily from that, doesn't sit right with me.
I think as long as you're betting on yourself, on your team, I have no problem with that.
But because if you bet on yourself that your team's going to lose?
No, bet only into yourself to win. I have no problem with someone betting on themselves to win because, all you can do is at that point is lose, and you're not going to want to lose your money. So betting on yourself to win only. You can't bet on yourself to lose. That would be definitely illegal.
Yeah.
We got one more thing to talk about, though, and that is loot boxes, another form of betting in our Bettorama podcast here today. Loot boxes are being, they've been being outlawed for a while, but not in this country.
Yeah, in one specific country, Brazil plans to really crack down on companies that have loot boxes. So me personally, I like to hoard my loot boxes and open them all up at one time after I have 500,000 of them. But this particular country wants to have a $706,000 fine per day that would go towards the companies if they have loot boxes in there. Personally, I find that ridiculous. I think loot boxes are just a fun way to get through the game because 90% of the time you just get them for free. But if you're that kid that really wants to get a gold skin or whatever it might be, and you grabbed your parents' credit card and swiped away, that's a conversation that your parent has to have with you. That's not really government intervention right there, but
I'd love to see the credit card, if it's swiped on this site, do not use. If you could set that up as a parent, if it's blizzard.com, no. Yeah, if it's EA, no. If it's Xbox, no. It needs my permission. I don't know if they have that. I would think they do by now, but if that's not a thing, we need that before I have a child, please.
For real. But yeah, I think it's kind of wild that first off that this is even considered a form of gambling. But according to Brazilian law, it is seen as a random monetization.
It's a gamble. I want that heirloom in Apex, but I can't get it. I can't buy it. I have to get it through a random box that I have to pay $2 a box for. It's a gamble.
The thing is, there's no way in these games like Overwatch and Apex, or even League of Legends has like some champion capsules or whatever. There's no way for you to profit off of that unless you sold your whole account, you know? The only games that I'm thinking, I guess I'm actually overgeneralizing this because there's plenty of games that you could buy and sell trading cards. So Madden, FIFA, there's CSGO, there's actually, it's a lot more than I'm thinking right now, but I'm just thinking of the games that I'm actively playing. But yeah, I guess like that could be a problem if you're trying to buy loot boxes for CSGO skins or Valorant skins, and then you're selling them on the Steam marketplace.
That would be amazing, actually. I would actually prefer that, to be able to resell something if it has value. That's what I'm into, is I want to be able to buy things. Buy things, though. I want to be able to buy them. I don't want to have to gamble to get them. That's the whole point I think I'm going after, and what they're going after is, there's an item you want that you saw, but you can't buy it. You have to gamble basically to get it. You have to put in $150, even though they could have just sold it for $20, and you could buy it for $20, but you could put $150 in, maybe not even get it. I still haven't got my heirloom yet.
Now these companies, like, if they do have to ban loot boxes from their games, are they gonna have a knife on the marketplace that everybody wants the knife? And normally, you would have had to put in that $150, and we could put it on the market for $20, but hey, we're gonna put it on the market for $50 because gotta get that bread. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna put it on the marketplace for what we value the knife at, and you're still gonna buy it because you want that gold knife with the camouflage, rainbow-colored bullcrap on the blade.
Yes, please. Yes, I would like that. That's all I want. Now, will that decrease its value on the marketplace? That's to be seen, because like that's only to be found out. Now, supply and demand, if there's more supply and it's readily available to buy for $50, is it going to be worth more than what it was in the loot box? Probably not. I mean, or if there's only 1,000 in existence right now, but now they put it in the store for $50 and 20,000 people get it, well, now it's not probably on the aftermarket. It's probably not going to be worth as much. But if you only put out like a season 1 skin and you didn't get in season 1, that should be, no, don't bring it back. So or
loot boxes just get banned in these companies, in these countries, and they only can get basic skins, but they could still access the Steam marketplace, but they just have to buy everything through the Steam marketplace. You don't get a loot box.
Depending on the game.
Yeah, depending on the game.
So not Xbox, not
Apex.
Not Overwatch, not Apex, Apex is on Steam now, so.
But yeah, like for packs and stuff for like Madden and FIFA, like I know FIFA is probably huge in Brazil because they love soccer down there. But that getting banned from FIFA, like, one, that's a lot of money that's not going to EA, first off. But then two, like, I don't know. That's like for content creators down there that just open packs, and like that's all they basically do every day is just open packs and don't actually play the game. Like, that kind of sucks for them. But
maybe a VPN could help out with that. I don't know.
VPN,
just thinking out the box. VPN.
Hashtag not sponsored. NordVPN.
Hashtag not sponsored by a VPN yet. Thank you. but interested. All right. Yeah, good stuff today. Awesome to talk about ALGS, talk about a little bit of betting in the esports ecosystem, and wrap it up with little loot boxes. Thanks for listening. As always, I'm Rob.
I'm Casey. Appreciate your guys' time. This is our 4th episode, trying to keep this ball rolling.
Follow us on the socials. Follow us on TikTok at 6 Degrees of Esports, and follow us on Twitter, 6 Degrees of Esports, for upcoming episodes and some reactions. And we'll start posting the articles as well on Twitter that we're kind of taking some stories from and learning some more insights about. So thanks a lot, guys.
Peace. We're out.